Hi there, it's Jennifer from Yellow Brick Road Farm, and I'm in the mid-October garden. So basically, I am looking at amending beds. So there's some beds there, and just maintaining these fall crops with water. So that's what I came in here to do today, was to water. Water is a precious resource in Nova Scotia right now. There is a major drought. It's been, I think, the second driest year on the books ever. And what I have noticed, though, is that it is just starting to reach us this last month or so. We are generally a wet island, wet climate, and even though the drought has not impacted us right from sort of mid summer on, like it has other regions in Nova Scotia, it certainly is impacting us. I am really tired of being the water guardian on the farm, and although we are always careful with our resources, it is a whole different level when it has not rained in many weeks. It really does take it to watching every drop, and that I dislike being the guardian of. That's getting really boring, if I must say so. And it just makes me worried for what comes next, but at the same time very grateful for everything that is growing well and has grown well this year. One thing about being a small farm during a drought, you can pivot very quickly, and that will definitely mean going forward looking at what crops survived this year and what ones just did not do as well or needed a lot more resources, meaning water, because that just will make the difference of what I'm going to grow going forward. So we have winter carrots in the garden right now. The squash plants have all been kissed by frost. I've been amending this ground here, adding in lots of compost, and but you can still see there are some zucchini still growing. This is a early straight neck, or early crook neck, summer squash, and that one actually is okay. So that one I'll pick and take in the house. I've also got another zucchini plant over there that, even though it's been touched by frost, it is still growing. So we've got lots of carrots here, and those are going to be our storage carrots. I've got lots of kale growing, and although I am not a lover of kale, I appreciate its resilience in the winter, and it is nice to have something green in the winter, and that's lovely in soup. That's a Tuscan kale. I have turnips, lots and lots of turnips, which are great. I've been thinning those out and trying to get those, to get to the storage size. Celery, I cut all this down, so this is cut and come again. This is sort of the other same as the cabbage back there. I just cut off the heads and let the little petite choux come up, and that has been doing well. Now this is our fall cabbage, and these are oh goodness, and I can't remember the variety right off the top of my head, but these are growing really well, and those hopefully will form some heads here soon, because we are still having lovely weather, and they'll hopefully hold over the winter. I've amended the beds where the sweet potatoes were. They've all been hauled. Still have some onions in the ground. They don't mind it cold. So whatever I get out of this bed is whatever I get out of this bed. I'm not going to worry too much about it. They were a late sort of Hail Mary crop. I threw those in and just sort of said, oh, well, if they grow, they grow. It was an empty space. So this is the zucchini plant that is still growing. You can see I still have blossoms there. So I didn't want to clean this up yet because the bees are still buzzing around, enjoying it. And that has been a blessing that way, because, oh goodness, anytime you can still see life is lovely. You can see the nasturtiums so are still going strong here. They don't mind it too cold. I do see some that are sort of dying off, and over here definitely was touched more by frost the other day. And yeah, but I've been saving seeds, grabbing the seeds from under there and trying to save the seeds, as well as the seeds from all of these beans. So been letting these dry and just trying to keep up with picking them as they become more empty and dried. All the squash are picked. We had to put up a new fence. right there. So that was really good timing, actually. All the squash were done and hauled before the new fence had to go in, so that was great. And like I mentioned, more beans. Another crop of carrots over here that it's just sort of I thinned out, and you know, just have ones that are still just trucking along. We've got some romaine lettuce that I've probably got about 5 or 6 heads left. A new crop of beets over there. I've hauled all the cucumber vines and amended those beds with compost. Oh yeah, and this is our tall blue kale, and this is all going to seed, and I usually let that go to seed, or I haul the seeds and take them to the seed library. And yeah, if you're a seed saver, this is the time you want to search out a seed library near you, or save some seeds and share with friends, because holy cow, is that ever the ticket to keeping biodiversity and, you know, just keeping different varieties in our repertoire, and not letting the seed companies, the major seed companies, have all the fun. You know, we need to be to the party too. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, I love to save seeds. I am sort of, and I won't say late to it. I've always saved some seeds, but I always thought you had to be really, really, like, you know, sort of scientific about it. And the more I read about it, the more I realize that, yeah, there is definitely something to be said for landrace seeds, which are seeds that are, you know, adapt to your climate and are, you know, become yours. And that is all part of biodiversity, and that I love. So, yeah, so, oh, that's weird. It's a piece of sea glass, purple sea glass, actually. So that probably came from some seaweed that was in my compost. How weird is that, huh? Yeah, because we have a lot of seaweed. Oh, sorry, I paused that. I'm not sure where I paused it at. Anyway, so parsnips, and we have parsnips, and the growing season should be about 365 days on those, because you really want them to have a good, you know, bunch of frost on them and a nice cold period before they get really sweet and tender. Leeks. I have some leeks there, and I don't need a big feed of leeks. Like I mentioned, this is the kitchen garden. We're eating fresh out of this. I hilled those up. I thinned them out, hilled them up, and I've really seen, like, you know, really good growth, but they are not anywhere near ready. They won't be ready until the fall. Lots of beets here. That is a planting that I did sort of late July, I think. So that was a late July planting. Those are almost done. I've got some tatsoi over there, and I've got some cabbage still in. Hauled all the turnip the other day. Those the late July July turnip has been hauled. So basically, I'm just you know, holding some of these cold hardy crops. I do have over by Whiskey's paddock where our garlic goes. I did put in a planting of beans to help with just some nitrogen fixing and things like that. And that was amazing. Those beans were some of the best beans that I grew all summer. And yeah, they're almost done. And you can see that the squash plants over there in the corner. But of course, you know, the kale keeps going strong. Yeah, and that's been, that's our tall blue kale. And I saved the seeds from that, and that overwinters beautifully. I feed the sheep that. We eat the tender leaves. I also have Beatty's kale down here. And that's a curly kale, and that is a very citrusy kale, which I don't mind. That sky today, it's nice. Yeah, so what else do we have in the kitchen garden? We have arugula that has gone to seed, and I'll be harvesting some of those seeds soon. I have a chicken that is trying to get in, and I'm going to yell at him to get out because it's not time for them to come in yet. Yeah, so still, like I mentioned, letting these beans dry on the vine and getting those nice and dry so that I can pick them. And I've already taken quite a few bins into the house and into the barn to dry, and that's been good that way. In order to get those into jars. The sweet peas keep going. I keep harvesting the sweet peas as well, the sweet pea seeds as well, and that those I can't wait to plant again next year. These were beautiful, beautiful sweet peas, and they still have so much scent. It's amazing to me that they're still going. Look how pretty that is. How can you not love that, huh? So yeah, and they were a royal mix, you know, so like I mentioned, I'll be keeping those seeds again this year, and they've been a really good seeds. The raspberries are all gone to bed. I won't be planting garlic out until probably the end of November. Here we tend to get, because it's like 10 degrees still at night, we tend to get repeated thaws and freezes. So I find waiting until mid-November to late November is actually best. It takes away all of that uncertainty about the weather and allows me to ensure that once I put that in the ground, it is going to stay at a consistent temperature. So, hopefully. So I put that garlic in and let that, I put in roughly about 200 cloves of garlic over there, and then I cover it with straw and cover it with pine boughs. And the reason I do that is because I don't want the straw to blow away. We live on a very windy island. And the other reason is because I think it offers some nutrients. And the third reason is to keep my chickens from getting in there and sort of digging the cloves up if they happen to get in here, which sometimes they do. Sometimes they're naughty. So into the little greenhouse. And this is still just busting. We've been getting cucumbers still. We've still been getting cherry tomatoes, baby tomatoes, full-size tomatoes. I've still got some Scotias in here. I've got underplanted. I've got tatsoi, spinach, basil, and kale underplanted. There's some chard over there, as you can see, and some beets underplanted over here, and some onions. And some lettuce. So I've just been letting that sort of, do its course. But it's still going very strong. I mean, like I mentioned, we're only getting down to about 10 degrees here in late October. So I'm still, and that's broccoli. Yeah. And you can see right there, big broccoli head, big broccoli floret, because I harvested the main head and now I'm getting the florets, which I kind of like better. I don't know. I know a lot of people really love the heads of broccoli, but I'm partial to the florets. I think that they're just a really nice way to harvest broccoli. And, anyway, they're what I enjoy. Oh, I've got some sage in here as well. Lots of sage. I've got some other broccoli things in here as well. But they were just sort of seedlings that either I've seen that were outside and that I needed to thin out and then brought them in. So sometimes that happens. I will stick things hither and thither, because I am just trying to maximize my winter holding so that I can, and not waste what's outside in the garden. So I want to make sure that I'm moving things around and tucking them in for the winter into nice places that I can, that we can harvest off of all winter. Because this is, like I mentioned, the kitchen garden. So, yeah, and I've already been up to the high tunnel today, and you could see that was full of crops, but also full of weeds. So we have to do a bit of work on that. So Swiss chard has gone to seed as well. I've saved some seeds from that because this is just beautiful chard. Lots of calendula seed and lots of calendula still coming up and flowering. We are still, this is all calendula here, and we are still getting major harvests of calendula, as well as the marigolds have finally showed up to the party. They were really late this year. So that, as I've got some rattlesnake beans here that are drying on the vine. It's easy to imagine that this is all going to be put to bed here in about a month. But at the same time, we still have lots of life here that is going to just hold over the winter. And once we top it up with some compost, we'll be able to, hold that. And it'll be great. To be able to enjoy that through the winter. I'm hoping to attend a seed saving event at another farm on Monday, and I hope to learn lots more about, sort of different varieties of seed savings in small gardens. I've got some spinach here that really did not do well. It was really hard to take. I found it really just did not it likes it cold, and this year has just not been, I find, cool enough in order to let that spinach flourish. It did in the spring, but not after that. So this is a turnip. These are York, and they're a storage variety of turnip, and you can see I have some smaller ones and some bigger ones, so I've been trying to go through and just thin them out a little and make sure that we have so just lots of room for them to get to their good storage size. These are carrots, and all right, hold on. I'm gonna turn around here. I'm doing this with my opposite hand, and that never works well. So these soil compacted a little, which is not, but look at that, still beautiful. Yeah, so this is Bolero. This is a Bolero storage carrot, and these have been by far my best storage carrot. I always enjoy, the flavor of them. They seem to store the longest, and I will do these in sawdust, wet sawdust, into our unheated barn. I'll do the same thing with the turnip. I will layer that in to plastic bins and just, do that, and we'll eat off those fresh all winter. And they get a little hairy sometimes. I read that some people use oak leaves or maple leaves to layer the bins instead, that it actually prevents that hairiness from forming on the vegetables. I thought I might try that maybe one year. Frankly, I'm too nervous sometimes to do certain things with our storage crops that may ruin them, because we really depend on them to not have to go to the grocery store as much during the winter and be able to eat still fresh from our garden, for as long as we can. So that is one thing that I definitely am, interested, though. I'm always interested in learning different techniques. I did a talk last night at our local library, where I work part-time, on root cellaring without the root cellar. And, it always blows my mind. Like, I always learn so much, and they always learn so much. Well, that's what they say. And just really, really happy for that fellowship that we've created here in our area for, people having these conversations. And as I wrote a blog post this morning about longevity and how community and keeping community is actually one of the major predictors of longevity. And so I really think, cheers to local libraries and, for hosting those conversations on food security and also on food literacy and, but I just call that storytelling. I just tell that, just gathering and having fellowship around, the garden and food and, and encouraging everyone just to do what they can in our area. Just really, really happy about that. It was a really good, I shout out to Thelma and Dawn and Elaine that always come out to those programs, and Grace, shout out to them. They always come out to our programs no matter what we're putting on to show a support to the library. And I'm very thankful for people who take advantage of, those kind of resources that are, their freedom, So, the horses are acting up. They're far risky. Yeah. With the cold air. Anyway, but cheers to, cheers to that. And I hope to be, doing this well into my 80s and 90s. I really hope to be, providing some wisdom and still learning myself. So, I just recently celebrated my 53rd birthday, and, I feel really good. So I'm really happy about life and sort of where I'm at right now with my health and that says a lot. I'm in menopause and sort of near the end of perimenopause and into full menopause. And that has been, I think that the way that I have been eating has definitely played a major role in being active and being out in the garden and regulating my nervous system has played a major role in how I have been able to experience that, that part of aging. And I can't say any more about that except for I hope you have a great week. Happy hump day. It's Wednesday, and I hope that the garden treated you well this year. But if not, there's always blessings in the garden. I don't care I don't care if you harvested a carrot, congratulations. So, we really need to look at, sometimes we, as gardeners, we tend to look at the things that didn't go right, or the things that were wrong, and we really need to look at, the abundance, and again, that's another marker of longevity, is the gratitude. And I don't know whether it's just my age or whether it's just I've been freshly milling my own flour. People will laugh at that. But those B vitamins, I tell you, they do something to you. They do something to you. They give you an umph that you may not have had before. And but I've been feeling it anyway. So anyway, have a great week, everybody. Happy gardening.